Hello, and welcome back to Let's Talk Chicago Bears. Happy Friday to all you working stiffs out there. You made it. The weekend's here almost, and that means we have another game on Sunday. Oh, yes, I know. They just keep happening. The thing is so funny is you can't wait for the football season to start. You can't wait. And then now we're in the 11th game already. And it's crazy how fast it's gone, right? But it has not been a good 11 games, so we know that. But we are back. Let's talk about what's going to happen. But first, I do want to welcome. There's more viewers, more subscribers. Again, Greg, shout out to you. Chygo, CHGO, thank you for recognizing my show on your show. More people have been turning me on. Boom. And it's really making this old lady happy. So it's helping keep me up and positive for you people, the new viewers. So I'm here to, if you're new to the show, I just talk about the Bears. I give stats the week before, the Friday before the game, and I give a few stats here and there, comparisons, and then I talk about what I think is going to happen, and et cetera, et cetera. That's kind of what I do on my show, and then I do a Friday show and a Monday show every week, before and after. And I do like to have fun and make you laugh, so with the season going the way it is, we got to stick together and just laugh and try to take this the best way we can, right? So that's my job, is to give you guys information on the Bears and hopefully make you laugh along the way. I mean, this face, again, I look just like my dad. Not fair in a woman's body. It's just not. So hopefully that made you laugh. So let's get into it a little bit, but I want to talk a little bit more before we get into the stats on the Minnesota game about what's going on. They didn't, obviously, after we lost that game, they didn't fire Flus. They're not going to fire. I mean, maybe, but I doubt it. So I was wondering about that. I know the Bears have never fired a coach during the season. So I looked it up. There's only three teams in the league that have not fired a coach. Everybody else in the league has fired a coach during the season, except for the Chicago Bears, the Ravens, and this last one won't be a surprise, the Steelers. Well, the Steelers don't need to because they always find great coaches, but they're the only three franchises that have not fired a coach during the season. And as I've said, you get perks if you fire them during the season, because right after the season's over, you can start looking for a head coach. You fire them after the season, then you got to wait till after the Super Bowl to look. So it's to your advantage, Bears. I don't get it. So, but I did look at, I wanted to see, okay, so I threw a little stats together about some coaches we've had in the last few years. So Lovie Smith was one, besides Ditka, but Lovie Smith was a 10-year. He was with us 8 years, and he was from 2004 to 2012. He was one of the few winning coaches. He had 83 wins to 63 wins. So we had a pretty good ride with Lovie, but after 2012, it gets bad. We've got from 2013 to 2014, Trestman. That man, I'm sorry, but when he didn't have his hat on, he was a creepy looking dude. And he did not win much. He had 13 wins to 19 losses. Then John Fox comes in after we fired Trestman from 2015 to 2017. He didn't do any better. He had 14 wins to 34 losses. Then, of course, Matt Nagy from 2018 to 2021. And he had a couple, if you look at his wins, he had 34 wins to 31 losses. So we were winning. Our best year was 2018, the first year that Mitchell was there, and we went 12-4. And then the next year, in 2019, Mitchell comes out and looks completely different and doesn't do anything because Nagy tried to change him. So, and then Nagy went downhill. And then we ended up hiring Flus in 2022 to now. He's only got 10 wins to 24 losses. So since 2004 to date, the Bears have 71 total losses. 71 wins to 108 losses. That is terrible. So after Lovie Smith, Trestman, Fox, Nagy, and Flus, horrible, horrible. You know what, Bears? And since 1975, when I started watching the Bears have had 12 head coaches. Can you believe it? That's a lot, and that's bad. And I'm just wondering why the Bears can't go out there and find a good head coach. Are the Bears, I was thinking about this, are the Bears afraid that whoever they hire will be the smartest person in the room? Meaning that person will be smarter than anybody in your organization? Yeah, that's what I think. And they don't like it. And you know what? He should be the smartest person in the room. He's your head coach. And we know that Flus is not the smartest person in the room. Flus is coaching not to lose. And when John Madden used to say it all the time, when you start to coach not to lose, you're going to lose because you're afraid to make the real decisions. And clearly, the end of the Washington game, if the end of the Packers game wasn't a clear sign he can't make a good decision, I don't know what is, because he should have taken a timeout and run the ball one more time to get at least some yards. That that block wouldn't have happened. But he can't make those decisions because he's not a head coach. So the Bears, you know what? You got to go out there and find somebody who's been a head coach, in my opinion, to bring them in and knows what they're doing, because we need a lot of work on this team, and that's what's got to happen. Flus ain't the answer. I don't know why they won't fire him. I know they're running out of coaches, but at this point, are we going to win another game? Probably not. If we couldn't pull off the win last week. Oh, well. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But I don't know. We're going to have to see each week what's going to happen. So we have, 7 more games left? 7, yeah, I think, right? Or 6, 7, whatever. So, all right. So let's talk. That's just my follow-up from last week. To just show you that we haven't picked a good head coach in a really, really long time. And Lovey was the last one, that's for sure. Okay, so we're playing the Vikings, and the Vikings and the Bears have played 126 times, including one postseason game. The Bears have been winning 58 games, and the Vikings have won 66 games, and there was also 2 ties. So the game's in Soldier Field this week. I was really hoping. I was watching that game last night. Oh, that was a fun game. Pittsburgh and Cleveland, even though Pittsburgh went in 8-2 and Cleveland was 2-8, but it was a great game. If you watch it, it started out green grass, beautiful. By the third quarter, the grass was now white and it was a blizzard. It was so fun. And I said to my son, man, wouldn't that be great if it was doing that on Sunday in Soldier Field, because we might have a chance if it were a weather game. I see that your weather's going to be perfect for that game on Sunday. Darn it. But it was really fun looking at that game. And I said to my son, we both missed the snow a little bit, just a little bit. It's always those first couple snows are always fun, and you always want snow for Christmas. And then on the 26th of December, I wanted it to go away. But that was fun. But no weather game this week. Okay, I'm just going to give you the stats I always give you before the game to compare the teams in these 4 categories: pass, rush, points scored, and points allowed. Out of 32 teams, the Bears pass terrible. They're averaging 173.8. That puts them 30th in the league. Minnesota is averaging pass-wise 224.6 yards a game, and that puts them 13th in the league passing. Rushing, we just can't seem to get this consistently going. All year it's been a problem. We're averaging 115 yards, 0.2 rush a game. That puts us 22nd in the league. Minnesota is averaging 116.4. That puts them 19th in the league. So we're fairly close there. Points scored, not even close. The Bears are averaging 19.4. We know that. That puts them 22nd in the league. Minnesota is averaging 24.4 points a game. That puts them 10th. That's going to be a problem. Points allowed by the defense. Minnesota beats us there. Well, they beat us in every category. Every category. Points allowed by the defense. We are in the top 10 there. We're averaging 18.7 points a game allowed by the defense of the Bears. That puts them 7th out of 32 teams. But Minnesota comes in averaging points by their defense, 17 points a game, and that puts them 4th. So the Bears are going to have their hands full once again. I mean, this is a better team than Green Bay was, and we couldn't beat Green Bay even though we beat them on paper. We just lost by that much. So, but it's still, I'm still pissed about it. I'm pissed since Washington. This 4-game skid has just been horrible, and it started with Washington, and I'm not going to beat that dead horse because I know I keep doing it, but it did. All right, so Williams, our quarterback, God bless him. Seriously. He's got 2,016 total yards passing with 9 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He's been sacked. Are you ready for this? 40, yes, 40 times. 40. He has rushed for 306 yards. Sam Darnold, the Minnesota quarterback who is coming back, he's rejuvenated his career being in Minnesota. He has passed so far to 2,387 yards. He has 19 touchdowns with 10 interceptions, so that's a pretty good ratio, but he does have the 10 interceptions, so that's a good thing. He's been sacked 28 times, so there's some possibilities there, and he has run for 166 yards. The rush game is number Swift. Our top running is number 4 Swift with 635 yards rushing. They should be close to 1,000, really. If we were running more like we should be, he'd be closer to 1,000 than he should be. He's got 5 touchdowns. Their top runner is Jones, who I believe they got from, I think he came over from, I think this is Aaron Jones, and he came over from Green Bay. He's got 692 yards rushing on the ground with 2 touchdowns. Our top wide receivers are, I'm sorry. And Lynn, would you read your notes properly? So Swift's got 635 yards running with 5 touchdowns. And in the air, Swift has got 243 yards receiving. Jones, as I said, has 692 yards on the ground with 2 touchdowns. And in the air, he's got 262. So they're both pretty even, our running backs, and they're both dual threats on the ground and in the air. So we're going to have to be very careful with that. Our top receiver is number 15, Rome. He has 479 yards receiving with 1 touchdown. And their phenomenal wide receiver, we're not even close to this guy. Jefferson's got 916 yards receiving in the air with 9 touchdowns. Jefferson obviously is the one the Bears are going to watch a lot. And having Brisker not in this game again is just, and his backup, number 22, Hicks, is limited and in practice this week because he has a banged-up ankle. So I'm concerned with that. So let me finish my stats and we'll get into it. So the defense, so you're seeing what the offense is, The defense. The Bears defense is ranked 13th out of 32 teams, and the Minnesota defense is ranked 10th overall. We have 25 sacks by our defense. Minnesota has 35. So look out, offensive line, and there's going to be more about that in a minute. The Bears were really doing well in this category, and now they have just gone silent. They have 9 interceptions, and Minnesota has 16 interceptions defensively. The Bears have 9 forced fumbles with 8 recoveries, and Minnesota has 6 forced fumbled with 5 recoveries. So, but the Bears in the turnovers, we had one 2 weeks ago, and I think we had one did we have one? Yeah, we had one last week too, that's right. Love threw one down on the but I'd like to see that get up more than one a game. We need more sacks for sure. Swift, man, he's got 3.5 sacks. That's it. Come on, man, we paid you a shit ton of money, and I saw your quote. You're pissed off about the season. Well, you know what? Let's go and get some more sacks and prove. Say, listen, this is how it's done. The 2 end guys have got to get in there and start making more sacks. Minnesota defensively is number 1 against the rush. And with our team lacking in that category, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens this week because and the Vikings in their last 3 games, well, the Vikings are allowing 74 yards a rushing per game. And that's what they've been doing all season. And over the last 3 games, they've only allowed total of 157 yards on 56 carries. They've allowed the other teams, their average they gave the other teams to rush is 2.8 on a down. So the last 3 games, they've been very, very stingy. And so they're going to come in and they're fighting for the playoffs too. You know, they're 8-2. I forgot to say that. Minnesota's 8-2, and we're 4-6. And the thing about the rushing is the Bears they are 3-2 in games when they rush for more than 100 yards. They're 3-2. And on those 2 losses, they were both the final plays of the end of the game. And we should have won the Packer and the Washington game. But yes, so they're 3-2 when they run over 100 yards, which I stress every week. Rush the ball. And they're 1-4 in games they fail to reach 100 yards. So, and Minnesota is one of the most teams that blitz. They blitz the most. The O-line is going to have their hands full. They are really going to be in trouble. And as I said, Swift was quoted this week as saying, "Yeah, I'm pissed about what's going on. We're on a 4-game losing streak," Swift said. "I'm pretty fucking pissed off or frustrated." Of course, they bleeped out fucking, but that's what he said, frustrated. Okay, Swift, you're pissed off and frustrated? Then get some more sacks, because 3.5 ain't making it, man. You got to get more sacks than that. And getting close, I always say, if you can't sack him, knock the quarterback down, opposing quarterback, get in his face, get him frustrated, but do something. The Bears aren't doing it. They're just not doing it in these last 4 games. They have got to step up their game. And they were doing it before. Come on, Swift. If you're this mad, let's see it on the field, right? Okay, let's talk about the injuries real quick. There's 3 people who did, 2 people, that did not play on Wednesday and Thursday at all. I'm doing the show before the injuries come out, but you guys will see it. 72, Dumaget, which I can't say his name. He's an O-lineman, and number 71, Bates, another O-lineman. They're both did not practice at all this week. So I don't know. For them to get in the game, they got to practice today. I'm sure 72 won't. 71, I'm not sure. So bottom line is we're still really hurting at that offensive line, and we know it. Number 22, Hicks. He did not play either Wednesday or Thursday, so I'm hoping that he'll get in because he has an ankle issue, and he's been covering for Brisker being out, and he's been playing pretty good. He's not playing like Brisker, but he's playing very close, and now he's hurt, so that hurts again. And then limited practice, our running back Swift, he's got a groin injury, so he was on limited practice yesterday. So I don't know what's going to happen, if they're going to be able to play, but regardless, this is going to be a really tough game. Minnesota, as I told you on the stats, beats us in every category. We're close with the defense, with the points allowed, that's it, but they're very, very good. I showed you in the last 3 games, they only allowed 157 yards rushing for 3 teams in 3 games. That's incredible, okay? So you're going to win when you keep your opponent under 100 yards, okay? Did you hear that, Bears defense? Under 100 yards. And they blitz a lot. So, our line is banged up. It hasn't been good anyway, so I'm just really worried again. If we can get Cabe to release that ball as fast as he did last week in this game, we'll have a chance. But Minnesota is better than Green Bay. A lot better. So it's going to be a tough game, especially after the last 4 games we've had. I don't even know where the Bears players' minds are at. They said they move on, but can you really? And that they're pissed about this. We got a head coach that can't make a decision. He's coaching not to lose. That's what he's doing. he wants to save his job. He doesn't care about anything else than that, and that's bullshit. And Poles and Warren, you should fire this guy. He's not the answer. You better frickin' be looking for his replacement. Mike Gravel is out there. He's a coach. He's a consultant for the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Packers, Lynn. The Cleveland Browns. He's a consultant, so he's only helping. But he might be a good choice for head coach because I don't want somebody brought in next year that hasn't already done that job. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. I know a lot of people want to go get like Ben Johnson from Detroit. I don't know if he'd come to the Bears, and I'm not sure the Bears would bring him over. And you don't know. Just because they're a good offensive coordinator and their offense is good, that doesn't make them a good head coach. I've seen it so many times and it doesn't work out. So I want a head coach that's got some experience. Just one or a couple of years, I'll take it. Mike Gravel, yeah, I'll take him. But we'll see. But this game, so this is what they got to do. I mean, really, so I'm going to talk about my threes: time of possession, turnovers, and penalties. Time of possession, you want to win that. It's important. Some people were saying to me last week, time of possession means nothing. Bullshit. It means a lot. Because time of possession, if you're winning it, that means your offense is on the field and their defense is on the field a lot. And you're going to wear their defense down. And hopefully your offense is scoring some points. And it keeps your defense off the field and their offense off the field. So they can't score points, and the Bears' defense can rest. So you want to keep your defense off the field and their offense off the field. So, of course, the Bears won that handily last week and couldn't win the game. See, there was no excuse for that. On paper, the Bears beat the Packers. There was only one category, and that was passing, that the Bears were less than the Packers were last week. So for that alone, Flus should be fired. Okay, so you want to win the time of possession. You want to win the turnover battle. That's quite obvious. You get turnovers. It defeats the other team. It hopefully gives your offense some good field position that they can score off of. But you get their offense off the field and you mess with them. And you got to get more than one. I'm calling for at least 2 turnovers in this game from the Bears defense. I want 2. I want you to get in his face. Okay, and then penalties. If you watch my show for all these years or just getting into it, I hate penalties. The Bears are the worst with it. When you're not a good team, penalties just mess you up. And it does the Bears. I have a rule of 5 or less penalties, and so you're gonna win. But the Bears consistently get penalties on offense, so they're always starting back behind the sticks. So when the offensive coordinator, he starts with 1st and 10, and now it's 1st and 15, he's got to throw that play away and get another one. And then you're 1st and 20. You got to stop it. So 5 or less. You win these 3 categories, you're in the game or you're going to win it. Now, the Bears did last week. They won all but the penalties. They lost the penalties. They won the time of possession. They won the turnover, but they lost the penalties. They were in it. They could have won it. So I'm right about these things. Of course I am. I'm Lynn. Okay, so again, offensive line is going to have it's going to be worse than last week because they blitz a lot. And they know that the Bears, Minnesota knows the Bears, excuse me, has a bad line and their injuries. So you know they're going to come after them. And they know, there's a rookie quarterback, so they're going to get in his face. All they have to do is look at film. And everybody's been saying, a bunch of teams since this losing streak, they're all saying that they've been watching the Bears on tape, and the Bears are showing their hands a lot. That starts with the head coach again. You're giving your plays away. You're showing your hand. I was wondering, there was a game, I can't remember what it was. It might have been the Washington game where I said to my son, it's like they are in our huddle. They know the plays. And they came out after the game and said, yeah, we watched them. And when they do this or this is what we know they're going to do. That's bad. And again, that's coaching. And it starts with the head coach, the OC, and the DC. And it's very important. You cannot give your hand away in the NFL. It's hard enough to win, but if you're giving things away and making it obvious, you're fucked, okay? So the offensive line has just got to step up and play one hell of a game because they're coming after you again. And we need Cabe to play like he played last week, where he released the ball quickly. And, and then he took off and ran. So now they saw what he did last week. So they're going to have a spy on Cabe, I'm sure, so he doesn't do what he did. But he's got to play another solid, air-free game. Now, when I say air-free, of course, I don't want him turning the ball over. But I also mean not taking sacks. Don't fumble the ball. Don't take sacks. When you're close, either ground it at somebody's feet or throw it out of bounds. You got it, because it's knocking us out of field goal range. And we need every point we can get. So, Cabe, you got to do that. But I don't want you to play afraid. And I think Flus and that the other OC that we fired, but I think more Flus has put it in his head. Do not throw an interception. Do not throw it. And the kid may be timid. But he's got the tools. I really believe this kid has got the tools. He just needs the right head coach and the right OC to guide him through. And we get that, we could be that team. We get an offensive line in the off season, which Poles better be fucking working on right now, because he really blew that. And I'm starting to lose confidence in Poles. Some of the things I'm hearing, and then this offensive line is a sore spot for me. So Cabe, air-free, smart football, and get rid of the ball. Don't take sacks to push you farther out. Our running game has got to get going. If Swift's limited, then we're going to see Johnson in there more, and I'm not overly concerned about that. I like Johnson, number 23, a lot. I think he can move a pile. Swift and him are different runners. Swift is more of a, finesse, get out there and go, and Johnson is more of a pile through that, go through that pile and knock the guys down and get out. And he'll move that line backwards. So they're different. So I'm not worried about that, but we got to run the ball even more than we did last week. We got to continue to run it, pound it down their throats, wear out that defense so we can win this game. Then your wide receivers. Now, last week, all of a sudden, the wide receivers are getting open. But they weren't getting open in Washington, Arizona, and New England. They couldn't get open for some reason. I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. Prior to their losing streak, they were getting open, more or less, but it kept getting worse and worse. Last week, they were getting open. So they need to continue to do what they did last week, and they have to help their quarterback. If you're running and you turn around and see him, you're running your route, and you turn around and see him scrambling, come back in and let him know, hey, give him a target to throw at. Good teams with good wide receivers do this for their quarterback. Help your rookie out and get open. And use number 85, Clement. We've got this fantastic tight end, and they don't use him enough. I would just pound him. And I just keep throwing it to him until Minnesota takes it away from you. Pound the ball, rush. Get 85 in there, Clement, get him in there more, and then that'll open it up for your wide receivers. Again, you get your run game going, your pass game's going to follow, because then the defense has to respect what you're going to do. If you can get that run game really going, then it does open up lanes for passing. So the offense has to play error-free, all of them game on offense this week. It's going to be like this the rest of the year. I'm going to be saying the same things in and out, but we just need error-free, smart football, and we're going to be in a game, if not win it. So, and defensively, it's pretty simple. You got to rush Darnold. You got to try to keep Aaron Jones under 100 yards. Very important. And then Jefferson, who is an awesome wide receiver, 916 yards receiving. He's going to want to pass 1,000 yards this Sunday, and he's going to be working on that. So the Bears have got to shut him down a lot. Of course, which will open up for other guys, but they have to. I'm sure Jefferson's going to get at least 2 big plays out of the Bears. I have no doubt about it, especially with Brisker being out. And if Hicks doesn't play, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to get a couple good ones. But our defense, the defensive line, it starts with they were playing really well early in the season, and now they don't seem to be getting to the quarterback as much. Get into his face. Knock his balls down. Knock him down if you can't sack him. Frustrate him. Make him make mistakes. Darnold has been having a very good year, but he'll make mistakes. He's thrown 10 interceptions, I told you. So let's get him to throw 2 more on Sunday, because I'm calling for 2 interceptions and I'm calling for 3 sacks. That's what I want in this game on Sunday. Do you hear me, defense? So that defensive line has really got. We are missing some guys. Well, not so much this week. They're all playing. They all practice. Of course, we're missing Billings, but he's out for the year. So, but Swift and Walker on the other end. They really got to step up. Swift's pissed. Well, yeah, we're all pissed too, Swift. And you're making a shit ton of money, and you only have 3.5 sacks. So shut up and show it on the field. I know you're frustrated. Well, show it on the field. Knock that quarterback down. Help your team get a W. And then the linebackers, you just got to keep playing solid. Edwards is having a hell of a year. 53, I think he is, Edwards. He's a linebacker. He's having a great year. Just keep it up. He's leading in tackles. And our backfield is going to be tested extremely this Sunday. You got Brisker out. And, that one just breaks my heart. I don't know if this kid's ever going to play football again. It's just really sad. But his health is more important. This is his 3rd time, and he's been in the league 3 years that he's had a concussion, but this is the worst. So God bless him. And then Hicks, his backup, is limited. So Darnold is having a great year. He's been rejuvenated, as I told you, when he went to Minnesota. And he's playing really well. And we need to shake his confidence. So the defense has got to do whatever to do, but they're going to be tested, that backfield, more so than I think last week. I think this is overall a much, much better team than Green Bay. Much better. And you see how we almost won that game. Should have won that game. Floose. But we did it. But it's just the Bears have got to come out and play air-free football. They got to be all playing their positions 100%, have your head in the game, and do whatever it takes to help this team get a W. They need a W so bad. We lose again, that's 5 games in a row. I just don't see how the Bears are going to come back from this, and it's got to be frustrating. I get it. I know how I feel, and I'm not the player. I'm just this old lady who loves watching them. Like my son said, and he's mentioned this before, he's like, after these last couple games, he's just like, I hate that I love the Bears. I hate that I love the Bears, and I know how he feels. And I feel bad that I made him a Bears fan. I've been going through this for 49 years, people. Yeah, so it ain't pretty. So it's simple what they have to do, but you know what? There's not much more we can say because it's the same thing every week. We got to, and it's frustrating, but we've got a talented quarterback. It's a shame that we don't have an offensive line to allow him to be, but I'm also worried about Cabe a little bit. The Bears have put a lot on him. He's a rookie. I don't want them to fuck him up for the next guy because I believe he's got the tools. He just needs the talent around him to complete it. And you give him an offensive line, he's going to be fine. But until then, we don't want to hurt this kid. And it comes to a point where maybe the Bears, if this continues, I know he's got to get, but still, you don't want to mess his head. So there might be a point that they do have to sit him and put Bajan in there just for his own livelihood, right? So, but we'll talk about that after this game. We'll see what happens and how he plays. But that's really what's got to happen this week on Sunday. They've really got to play better than they did last week because they played pretty damn good, but because of a coach's bad decision, they lost that game. So they got to play better than that. They are at home, so it'll help. And I got to say, the fans, for the most part, were really loud last week and on their feet, and I want you to do it again. You could drink a beer standing up. I say it all the time. Stand up and scream and yell when the Bears defense is out there so the offense cannot, Minnesota, hear, and you can get some penalties on them. Be loud, support your team. They need it right now more than ever. I know it's tough. I know it. But we got to get a W, guys. Come on. And if we can help by supporting them and being obnoxious, screaming and yelling, then let's do it, right? Because we all want to win this game. because 4 days later next week we're playing at 9:30, well, 9:30 here, 11:30 for you guys on Thanksgiving morning, in Detroit, and that's going to be an ugly, scary game. And I have to watch it with my daughter-in-law's family. It has nothing to do with them, but I just don't want to do it, but I got to because of the holiday and we got to be there, blah, blah, blah. You know how it goes. But oh my God, it's going to be awful. So it would be really nice if we could win this week on Sunday, because 4 days later, you're playing a team that very well could be in the Super Bowl. And the Bears aren't going anywhere this year. And so I would like to see, I will say it, most people don't pick another team in their division to go to the Super Bowl, but I do, because we know how Detroit's fans feel. We've been there. So I'd like to see them win this year. I think Dan Campbell cost them last year in that playoff game a trip to the Super Bowl on those dumb decisions he was making, but he lives and dies by them. That is something Flus will never do. He will never put himself out there and take a chance like Dan Campbell did. But Dan Campbell said, we'll be back. We're going to go to the Super Bowl next year then. Don't worry. And he's probably right. I really do hope they do go to the Super Bowl. I think it would be fun. I don't want the usual suspects in there. I don't want Kansas City in there. It's boring. So you'd like to see Detroit and somebody else. But my point is, we got to play them on Thanksgiving. And you know what? All you want to do is eat a lot of food, watch some good football. I hear the second game, it's going to be worse than the Bears, because the second game on Thanksgiving is Dallas and the Giants. That's going to be way worse. And you do just want to eat and watch good football. And we're not even going to get that, because we're going to have to eat after our Bears get creamed. So, but we'll talk about that next week. I don't want to, get off the subject, which I already have. So this is what we need to do. I told you. And that's it. I'm trying to think if there's any shout outs I need to do. I do. So Bears, get us a victory, please. Victory Monday. I want it, because my viewers want to hear me sing the victory song. And some of them haven't heard it this year because they're new to the show. So anyways, I always end my show with this message. Be kind. Love one another. Support each other. There's good people out there. Stop hate. People are just down and out right now, but there's such good people out there. So please, let's just treat each other with love and respect. Okay? Doesn't matter what you believe in and what you don't. We're just all human beings and just want to be loved. Right? And smile when you're out and about. It's the best. You can make somebody's bad day a good day. And I'm going to tell a short, good story to prove this. My son and his wife and my 2.5-year-old grandson and my 9-month-old grandson were grocery shopping the other day. And this woman came up to them. Now, you hear stories like this, but I've never known anybody to be on the receiving end. This woman walked up to them and said, "Can I bother you for a moment?" And they're like, "Sure." And she's like, "I'd like to give you early Christmas gift." And they're like, "Well, we don't really know you, ma'am, but what?" And she pulls out a $100 bill and she hands it to my son and says, "I would like you to accept this on my behalf and Merry Christmas." And he's like, "Ma'am, I can't take that money from you. I don't even know you. I've never seen you. I can't do it." And she's like, "Yes, you can, and you will, because I really want you to. Do this for me. This is my Christmas gift to you." And she talked him into taking it, and I think that is really cool. You hear these stories about people doing it, and for somebody to do that is clearly she has money, but she doesn't have to pass it out, right? I know a lot of people that have money and they don't do that stuff. I know a lot. I have some people in my family that got some cash and don't go handing it out in a grocery store. But she said to my son when they accepted it, she said, "You have a beautiful family, and have a great holiday." Is that cool or what? So it does show you that there's good people out there. I mean, I would love to have money to be able to do that. You hear about people going to pay off somebody's Walmart bill that they've laid away for their kids' Christmas gifts and stuff. That would be the coolest thing to be able to say, "Here's my credit card, charge it to me." I would do it, but I got no money. I need people to offer me $100. So anyways, my point is there's good people. So let's just love one another. And Bears fans, we've got to stick together. This is not going to get any better, but we've got to will our Bears to victory on Sunday. Victory. We want a W, Bears. W, W, W. Please give me a W. A W. I can't do it. So anyways, thank you all for watching. Make sure you tell everybody to, my saying, turn me boom on. Dun, dun. And I do appreciate you all watching me. I can't say enough for all these new subscribers I have. It is so freaking cool. And on that note, hopefully on Monday I will be here and we'll be talking about a win. I know, it's been so long we don't even know what those are. That's what I'm afraid of, that the Bears have forgotten how to win. So it starts this Sunday. Will the Bears to win? Put on all your Bear garb and let's get a victory. And on that note, keep on rocking and rolling from Vegas, baby.